Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this series of videos we are working on Azure 500 series labs, and these labs have been recently updated to fit the more recent changes that we have within Azure. So if you go in here, you see the most of the labs, they are updated very recently, some of them only 6 days ago. Okay, and if you go to Microsoft Learning and GitHub, you will see that there are multiple repositories for AZ500. Some of them are pretty old, and if you try to follow, you will have very hard time. So make sure you are at the right link, and I'll provide you the link, and just follow through to make sure that you have very good understanding of all these labs and features that you need to have for the Azure 500 examination. Now this lab, I have done this probably 3 times already in previous videos, part of other series of exam. We're gonna take a look and redo this lab now. That way we're gonna make sure that this still works as of today, which is June 15th 2021, and identify if there's any changes that Azure has made to the process and fix it. Okay, so really what we have, the scenario is we have asked, so we have to create a proof of concept demonstration about how to integrate on-prem Active Directory domain services ADDS with Azure Active Directory domain services tenant. So what we want to do, we want to implement a single domain ADDS forest by deploying Azure Virtual Machine hosting an ADDS domain controller. Okay, so that will simulate our on-prem environment. We're going to create and configure Azure AD tenant, and finally we're going to synchronize the ADDS forest with Azure AD tenant. Okay, so that would be the Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. We're going to synchronize. So first step is pretty easy: deploy Azure VM hosting an Active Directory domain controller. Second, we're going to configure this Active Directory tenant, and then third, we're going to synchronize the Active Directory forest with Active Directory tenant. So the first one, identify an available DNS name for Azure VM deployment, and then use ARM template to deploy Azure VM hosting and Azure Active Directory domain controller. So this is a good thing. So you can deploy a Windows virtual machine, then configure it to install your Active Directory, but there are ARM templates that are available that will pre-configured, so that will make your installation process go very easy. So what we'll do, we'll go down to our portal, and we're gonna work with the Cloud Shell. So let's just see if it opens up a Cloud Shell, and we're gonna go to the PowerShell, and unfortunately it says no Azure subscription found. So this is AZ Labs 9000, so I should have subscription with, oh okay, so I'm in the wrong directory. So what I'll do, I'm gonna go switch the directory, select the right directory, which is the default directory, come back over here. Now I'm gonna open up my Cloud Shell, and I should have access to storage subscription not valid, select a different subscription and continue. So let's see if it lets me select something. It's not, so give me a minute to fix this and then we'll continue. Alright, now it's letting me choose, and it says no storage mounted. So what we'll do, you can just click on create storage, but if you want, you can also create on advanced setting, and you can create a new resource group and say Cloud Shell storage. Okay, and then actually resource group is cloud, just say cloud security training general. Okay, now storage account, let's put it in east-us and call it Cloud Shell 1234321. Okay, and file share, I'm gonna just say the same thing, and over here I'm just gonna create the storage account. it is filled, not a valid storage account name. So come back over here again. So advanced setting, I don't think I can use the dash in that name. Now try this one. Oh, I didn't change my zone. It's okay even if you don't change the zone, but let's say it's now trying to create, and I think it will create in the other zone that was previously selected, which is okay. But let it create now, so that creation is done, and I should have now access to a Cloud Shell. Alright, so why do we need Cloud Shell? Because we're gonna run some PowerShell commands. So first job is to figure out an available DNS name for Azure VM deployment. So what we'll do this, test AZ DNS availability, then domain name level, then custom level, and then we'll do something. Replace the custom level placeholder with a valid DNS name that is likely to be globally unique. So we need to figure out what is there. So come back over here. I hate when this happens. So you see I'm typing, is the type comes over here, but we should be down there. That means I have to restart my Cloud Shell. So let's see if that helps. Sometimes I just have to close this and completely reopen. Alright, the Cloud Shell behavior is fixed now. So we're gonna do location, I'm gonna call it just US, and custom level we'll do Cloud Security Lab. Let's see if that's available, and hit enter, and I get true. That means it should be available, and I can use this domain name or DNS name for now. Okay, now verify that the command returned true. If not, rerun the command with a different value. So if you have false, just try to add some numbers and stuff, and go from there. So now we are going to record the name Cloud Security Labs, and I'm going to put it in my notepad and save it. Now coming over here, now we're going to use the ARM template to deploy. So let's see, where is the ARM template? The ARM template is stored over here. All files, lab 6, Active Directory, new domain, Azure deploy parameters.json. So come back to the very top, go over here, go to labs, it's under 6, and Azure deploy.json, that is the file that we want. Review the raw file, and I'm just gonna save this one under downloads. That's fine. I'm gonna come back over here, and we will do custom deployment from a template. So this is what we are gonna go back. So create an Azure VM, new forest blade. So here, create, where is it? So on open a browser tab, and okay, they're just asking us to go to this one directly. Okay, http github.com Active Directory new domain. So let's just try that one. So there are multiple ways to get to that one. So see if we have this one. So it's in here. So we just need to click on deploy to Azure, and that should take care of it. So let's come over here on the create new Windows VM and create new AD Forest domain and DC page. Click deploy to Azure. So as I said, click on deploy to Azure. So that should, if you are connected to Azure, it will automatically bring up the configuration page that is mostly pre-configured, as you see. Over here, edit parameters. So for this resource group, we're gonna create a new resource group. Create new, and this is going to be my resource group. Hit OK. Region, we are using East US for the most part, so go back and use East US. There we go. let's see, let's use whatever they're providing for the username and password. And for the domain name, we're using adatum.com. DNS prefix is the prefix that we have got, that is the Cloud Security Lab. And come back over here, provide that, and in here standard D2S v3, standard D2S v3 is selected. I'm okay with that. On the create an Azure VM with first review and create, so that's it. We don't need to do anything, everything else is pre-configured. So click on review and create, and hopefully that will start the deployment. Okay, so here the validation is successful, so hit create. It should create the virtual machine. So don't save here, and while this is going on, I'm going to go back and look at the virtual machines that I already have. And there is one that I am not using at the okay, that's stopped, that's good. So the other virtual machine that we are deploying, it will show up under this particular blade in a minute. So the deployment is still going on. So this is going to deploy a virtual machine with the Active Directory installed. So come back over here. So we are pretty much done with this step, and it says do not wait for the deployment to complement, but instead proceed to the next exercise. So that's what we're going to do. This deployment might take about 15 minutes. So create and configure Azure Active Directory tenant. So create an Active Directory tenant, add a custom DNS name to the new Azure Active Directory tenant, and create Azure Active Directory user with global administrator role. So these three tasks we are gonna take up now. So the first thing we're gonna do, create an Active Directory AD tenant. So what we're gonna do, we are going to go to the Active Directory. So maybe just go use this one, go to Active Directory and open up the Active Directory resource, and here what we will do, we will create a new tenant. Okay, let's see over here, we are gonna name the organization name as Adatum Sync. Again, please make sure that you are not using your own tenant. So basic configuration organization name is this. Then initial domain name, unique combination of letters and digits. So let's see if that works. No, that's not available. Console Lab 500. Let's see, that's for if that's available. Okay, that is now available. United States, that all looks good. Record the initial domain name, you will need it later in this lab. So let's just come back over here, and get this one as well. So this is the initial domain name. I'm gonna add this one over here as well, and create, review and create, and create. So that should create a new directory. So see, I'm in the default directory, and we'll soon move to this particular directory we are creating. So vyh drs6, there we go. Hit submit, and it says tenant creation in progress. It will take a few minutes, so just give it a few minutes and come back to this. And over here, the next thing we're gonna do is add a custom DNS name to the new Azure AD tenant. So we have to go to that particular directory before we do anything. So we gotta wait for a minute for this to be done, so just give me a minute. Alright, I think the tenant creation is now completed. So if I come over here, I'm still in the default directory. If I click over here and click on switch directory, now I have, this is where I am logged into. but now I have access to this Adatum sync directory, which is using cloud security lab 500.onmicrosoft.com. So I'm going to select that one. So this one I can close. This page, still this deployment is going on. I'm going to let it go. And over here we have switched here. We're gonna go to the manage and custom domain name and add a custom domain name over here. So home, and again I'm gonna go to Active Directory. Let's see, Azure Active Directory, and then manage, and then where is my custom domain name? Is right here. So you go there and add a custom domain name. We're gonna click on over here. So go back and type adatum.com and say domain. Now note that I don't own this domain, so it will be added but it will not be verified. So if you want the verification, you have to go through the process. You gotta either verify using a txt file that you upload to your site, or you can also add the MX record to verify that you have the right domain. So we cannot do this particular step. We'll just skip that step. On the blade, review the information necessary. Again, it says no, you will not be able to complete the validation process because you do not own adatum.com. Now if you search my channel, I actually have my own domain and I have used that to validate, and you can see that process how I did that. But you just have to do a Google search, not Google search, do a YouTube search on my channel for adding a domain name. The next thing that we're going to do, create Azure AD user with the global administrator role, and that is required. So what we'll do, we'll come back over here. Let's see, users, and new user, we're going to call it sync admin. So new user, we're going to call it sync admin guy, and name is sync admin. And ensure the auto generate password selected, click show password, and from the roles we're gonna make him global administrator, and location we gonna put it in United States. So usage location UNI, United States, and over here roles we're gonna say global admin, so global administrator, and select. So there we go. So I think we have configured this guy, and okay, we need the password. So over here the last thing that we need is this auto generate is good. So password, copy the password, and I'm gonna save the password for this global admin person over here for now. Copy it to clipboard, come back over here, paste it. So we got that one, and that's about it. I'm gonna hit create to create that particular user, and then we're gonna open an in private window, and we're gonna log in as that particular user. So portal.azure.com, and we're gonna use that sync admin user. He is the global admin. Hit next and get the password, put the password in and sign in. And since it's the first time, I'm just gonna use and change the password to something else, and say no. So we are now signed in as that global admin user. So let's see, so we have done that, and they're saying change this password. I just use some other password, but that's the only difference. So now I can sign out. So maybe later, and then I don't need to stay sign in. I'm gonna say sign out, and I can close this window. So the next job is to synchronize Active Directory forest with Azure Active Directory tenant. So we're gonna, three different things we gotta do. Prepare the Azure, the Active Directory domain services for directory sync, install is the Azure AD Connect, and verify the directory synchronization. So what we'll do, first we'll go to directory plus subscription filter, and we'll go back to the Azure tenant associated with the Azure subscription into which we have deployed the Azure VM. That means you have to go back. Let's see, the deployment is still in progress, so we gotta wait for a couple more minutes before we can continue, because we need this particular virtual machine. So give me a minute. Alright everyone, let's get back to the lab. So the deployment is now completed for the virtual machine where we have the Azure Active Directory installed. So we need to do some stuff and prepare the Active Directory domain services for directory synchronization. Excuse me. So what we need to do, in the Azure Portal, we are going to go to Active Directory subscription. We just so make sure that here I'm in the default directory. So this is the portal that I'm going to use. Over here, if you notice that I'm in the Adatum sync directory, so this one does not have any subscription, so this is not going to work. So this is going to close. So I'm going to go to the virtual machine. Okay, so you can just go to the resource group, and that should give me the virtual machine ADVM, so Active Directory virtual machine. So, and I need to RDP to that particular machine, and what we will do, I don't have the Windows RDP client, but I use the Remina. I'm on Ubuntu, so I'm gonna hit enter, say yes, and student is my username, and I am going to get the password, and the password would be this, because we use this password when we configure the machine. So let's see, it's here, and password, and hit OK. And it should connect me to that particular virtual machine. Okay, so this is a machine that has the Active Directory already installed. So let's see what is the next step here, and wait for the server manager to load, and then the following steps are performed in the remote desktop session. So within that virtual machine, we're gonna do some stuff. First of all, we're gonna remove the IE enhanced security configuration. We're gonna mark them off, and then we're gonna go to the Internet Explorer and configure the web browser with the default settings. So let's go back over here. Server manager is starting now. Let's see which is the other one. This is the one that we don't need anymore. Close this one. So once this starts, we are gonna go to the local server, and let's see, let's try to. The only trouble I have that this is a little hard to work with. Okay, over here, if you see the IPv4 address is unknown, not that one. I need. I had it. So come over here. I'm looking for. Let's move it over here again. So this is the this client is good, but I need to figure out how to increase the screen size. Okay, this is not the one. Let's go back to our. So we gotta turn off on the local server. We gotta turn off the Internet Explorer enhanced security configuration. It is usually somewhere over here. So we just have to make sure local server is selected. IE enhance. You see that IE enhance right there? So that is what I need to fix. So let's stay on it. Stay on it. IE enhance security configuration. There we go. So now we turn this off, and then that's all we need to do there. Then we're gonna open up the internet browser and go with the default configuration. So let's open it up, and default, we're gonna say okay. So that's all we have to do. And the next thing, we are going to download Microsoft Edge. So let's see. We don't really need Microsoft Edge, but since it's telling us to do, we are just gonna follow all the instructions. So let's see if my paste works here. Probably it did. So once it comes, we are going to download. I think it's maybe trying to automatically detect the platform, so let's just give it a second. Okay, I have to select a channel version. Okay, and then build. Interesting. That is asking me for so many different things. And platform, it's gonna be Windows 64-bit, and hit download, and go with download, and then run, and it should install the Microsoft Edge in a minute or so. So go back. What is the next step? Once I have the Edge installation done, we're just going to configure it with the default setting. Then we'll go back to the server manager, go to tools, and we're gonna start working with the Active Directory Administrative Center. So let's go back. This is still going on. That is fine. We can in the meantime go over here, click under tools, and then Active Directory Administrative Center. So this is the tool that we're gonna work on. So let's open it up, go back over here. What do we need to do? In here, we're gonna click on Add Atom Local, and in the task pane, create new, and we're gonna create an organizational unit. So let's come back over here. Then we need to go to this one, and then create a new an organizational unit. So now let's see how to configure this one. Name of the organizational unit is going to be ToSync, and hit OK. So that's all we need. So name would be ToSync, and let's see if I can save that quickly. I don't have a lot of room here. There we go. Okay. So we got that organizational unit in here that we have just created. Okay, and this is showing up over here, ToSync, right? So let's go back over here, see the next step. Double click the newly created ToSync organization unit such that its contents appears in the details pane, and next go to the task and create a user. So over here, sorry, go back. So again, click here and go down to this. Let's see if that showed up or not. Okay, ToSync. So now ToSync is here. Now I'm going to create new, and I'm going to create user, and we're going to configure a new user to this particular organizational unit. So full name, add user 1, AD user 1, sorry, AD user 1. Let's see over here, can go back over here. So first name you provide, full name is the same thing, UPN login is the same thing, and SAM account login is the same thing. So go back again So over here UPN is the same thing. SAM name is the same as well. I hope I have one at the end, it's hard to see. Okay, let's come back over here, make sure. SAM account user logon at AD user 1. Oh, over here. I think it's all good. And let's come back over here, display, everything else looks okay. So I'm gonna hit OK. Oh, we need the password, so get the password and come back over here. Let's see where to provide the password and confirm your password, and there we go. And hit password must change, user must change password on the next logon. That's fine. Hit OK. So that should create my first user over here. Let's see if I can extend this just a little bit more. No, so this is the problem with this small screen, but you can still get most of the things done. Okay, let's come back over here. Oh, we should have done password never expires. Okay, so if you are doing it, you can do that. So let's come back over here to sync. Let's see if I can find that user. I'm not finding. I mean, I can find. It's just having difficulty with this small. Never mind. What we'll do, we'll come back in here and go to the next step. So the next step is, so we know that we have a user, and at the most we are going to change the password of the user when it first logs into the machine. So over here we can also do one thing. We can go back over here, and now we have found the user, and do a reset password, and I'm gonna do the same password twice in here, and I'm gonna remove this. User must change the password in the next logon, and hit yes, and that should take care of the problem. So the user doesn't have to reset the password next time, and it kind of meets with the lab guideline. So we got that. So next we gotta go to Azure Portal. They're saying go to the portal from inside the virtual machine and then log in with the sync admin account that we have created previously. So let's stay inside this virtual machine. Maybe open the Edge if it's installed. Let's see if it's installed or not. It says it's not even available to me. I'm just gonna use, okay, it says maybe okay, thank you. It should have installed, but I don't know if the installation was complete, so I'm just gonna use over here portal.azure.com. I gotta type it right. Okay, I'll just say Azure. Okay, portal.azure.com. Why did it not work for me? Portal.azure.com. Okay, now we have it here. So we gotta use this sync admin. Copy. Come back over here. Paste, and again copy, hit next, and hit paste to provide the password, then sign in. Oh, it says the password is incorrect. I'm gonna try. What do we want to do? Let's do this. Let's come back to our Azure portal and go to the other directory that we have created, and that is what happened to the directory. So let's click on home one more time and switch directory and default, and this. Thought I should have third directory as well. Okay, I'm gonna sign out and sign back in this one because I don't think I showed the directory. May just need to sign back in. Now I'm here, and this time I'm logged into the right directory. At sync is the directory where we want to go. Here what I'll do, I'll go to the Active Directory and change the password of the user so we know what is the password that we need to use. Come over here, sync admin, and reset password, and copy this one, and then come back to over here, paste. Yeah, so that one should be the right password now. Do you want to update? So current password is this. We need a new password, so maybe this time you get this as the password and go with that. So paste and paste. Let's see if that works. There we go, and just log in. So what happened? Okay, that's IE is saying the portal not supported, so we'll try that one more time. No, we gotta have the Edge browser. Gee, so that is the reason they said okay, you have to install the browser. So let's just go to, let's first make sure here Edge was installed properly. So what we'll do, we'll just use Edge to do the rest of the lab. So why even keep Internet Explorer when it's no longer supported? Just get rid of. Alright, so I don't need to completely sign in over here. I just need to go to my portal one more time. Portal.azure.com, and again I'm gonna get the username and I'm gonna get the password. This password this time I hope it works. Paste and sign in, save. Yeah, so I'm in there. So finally we are logged in properly. So in here what we'll do in the portal, we're gonna search for Azure Active Directory, and we're gonna go to the Azure AD Connect. So not from here, I still have to be inside this particular virtual machine, and click on Active Directory, so click on there, and then we should see a blade for connect. What we'll do, we'll just search for it. Okay, so come back over here we're gonna look for Azure AD Connect, come back to here, paste it and search for it. Okay, Azure AD. Since I don't have a lot of space to work with, my everything looks a little bit messed up. So let's see, Azure AD Connect over here. You can also go from here. And what we will do, we are going to download the AZ Connect. It says not installed, right? So this is the thing that you need to do. And from the download center in English, click on download, and now it's downloading. So let's go back over here. When prompted, click run to start the Microsoft Azure Active Directory Connect wizard. So we're going to do that, and these steps are important, so try to follow them as closely as possible. So over here, open file and then run, and we'll go through and make sure that we are doing it exactly the way they have said, because you have to use the right user, create the right user, and make sure that when you are syncing, you have the right permissions. So what happened here? Here is the I'm gonna bring it over here. I hope I have enough space. I hope so. To start the installation, you have to create the I agree, and sorry, I agree. Then no, this is the wrong button. So I agree, and then here is the button that you need to connect. And then, do you want to use the express setting? Most likely we are not going to use the express setting. Go over here. Okay, so here express setting, you're gonna say customize option. So you don't want the express setting, so we are going to do customize options, and it's a little hard to see from here. Let me see, let me move this bar, and maybe that will give me some, come on, move this bar from here to over there. Not doing, so I'm just gonna click on this customize option like that, and in here on the install required components page, leave all optional figures options deselected and click install. So for here, what they're saying, you don't need to select anything, just make sure to click on the install. Okay, so over here we're gonna click on this install, and that should start the installation process. Okay, so the installation is forward, it's keep going. So all I did, I moved this bar from the bottom to the side so that I have some little bit more space to click on the previous and the next buttons over here. So the next thing that we want to do, we are on page 10, user sign in page. Ensure that password hash synchronization is enabled. So what it is, hash synchronization means your password from the on-prem, they are hashed back to Azure Active Directory. What is it over here? Make sure password hash synchronization, that is selected. Pass through synchronization, if you select that one, then no hashing will be done. Your user will be sent back to on-prem to authenticate from your on-prem server. So we're gonna use this one. Let's see if there's anything else we need. We don't need anything else, so we're just gonna hit next. Now comes to username and password. It says enter your Azure AD global administrator or hybrid identity. So this is where we're gonna enter our sync admin that we have created, and we're gonna say next. So let's come back over here, and let me think. So you gotta provide the full name. So again, come back over here, take this one from here, put it down there, and take the password, and come back over here, put the password in, and again now do the next hit button. So here it's trying to connect to Microsoft Online to verify credential, and you gotta have this global admin. If you don't have the global admin right, you cannot do this step properly. So now you picked up, and now it says connect to your directories. So let's come back over here. Click the add directory button, right of the aratam.com forest entry. So over here, so here is a add directory button, so let's just click on that one. So over here we also need an account with sufficient permissions on the Active Directory to be able to do this hash synchronization stuff. So what are we gonna use this one? In this one, we're gonna create a new AD account, and we're gonna use this as the username. So that is gonna be my username, and let's see, my super secret password is gonna be this. Come back and put the password in, and that's gonna create the new user account, and we should be able to use that one. So now it's configuring directories and everything, and it's green, it's still working on. I have to hit next, most likely, to move to the next page. So back to the connected directories page, ensure that atom.com entry appears as configured directory, and click next. So there is a configured directory, so that is good. I'm gonna hit next, and over here the next step is Azure AD sign-in configuration. On the Azure AD sign-in configuration page, note the warning users will not be able to sign in to the Azure AD with on-prem credentials if the UPN suffix does not match a verified domain name. So that is the portion we could not verify because we don't own the domain. So what we'll do, we'll click the checkbox, continue without matching all UPN, and hit next. So come down, and there is the button, continue without matching, and hit next. The next thing that we're gonna do, on the domain and OU filtering page, click the option sync selected domain and OU, clear all checkboxes, click only the checkbox next to sync OU, and then hit next. So here it really picks up all the OUs, so we'll click on sync selected, and we really need to use the to sync, and everything else I don't need to sync. Okay, so make sure that is what we wanted. So to sync OU is the only one that we need. Hit next, and the next, on the uniquely identifying your users page, keep the default, hit next, and the next, keep the default, hit next. On the third one also next. So all we need to do in this one, I'm gonna go with the default. This page we're gonna go with the default. Optional features we're gonna go with the default. So now it's ready to configure, and the configuration is going on. And once we are done with these 3 steps, on the ready to configure, start the synchronization process when configuration complex checkbox is selected, and click install. So start the synchronization process when configuration completes, and I'm gonna hit install. So as I said, this Azure Active Directory Connect, it's several steps are in there. Make sure that you are doing the steps properly. If you don't have the rights, you may see problems afterwards. So be sure to do it very, very carefully, and follow all the instructions as best as you can. So come back over here, we have done that, and then review the information on configuration complete page, and click exit to close the Microsoft Azure Active Directory Connect window. So as soon as this is done, we're gonna close this window. It will take just a minute. Okay, so I hope that's the last. Yeah, the last thing, we have done a lot of work already. Last, we have to verify the directory synchronization, and what we will do, within the remote desktop session to the virtual machine, we are going to go to the Azure Portal, navigate to the users, all users, and then we are gonna go to the add user account and profile identity. Note the source attribute is set to Windows Server AD, so we'll see. Actually, you know what, I can look at that from even here. So over here, well, my synchronization, I need to know if that's done. So here it's installing and it's still configuring Azure AD Connect Help Agent for Sync. So right now if I go, I probably just don't have the other user that we created, right? The student user that we created, it's not there. Okay, this one is now picking up and it says some on-prem synchronization service account, and this is the service account that we created in this particular Azure Active Directory domain. Let me open up this account just for a second. So this is some kind of on-premises directory synchronization account that got created as part of the installation process that we have gone through just now. Come back over here, it's still configuring, so let it configure, and go back to this lab. So it's saying users, all users blade. Note the list of user objects include the add user 1 account. Okay, over here the configuration is complete. You can log and all of that. Looks like it's all good and ready to go. So I'm just gonna hit exit, and here is the AD user 1. So let's come back over here. What I want to look at is, do I have that user? There we go. So now as soon as this synchronization is complete, I have this AD user 1 available over here. I can click on that user. Now although the lab is saying and go and do it from that virtual machine, you don't need to do that. Now you can do it from outside the virtual environment as well. So what you wanna do, go to profile, identity, and source. So profile, and then identity, and then source. Just do control F. Source, it just does not have any source anymore. It has the issuer, and let's see, come down here if I see anything else. It doesn't have anything else. Okay, let's come back over here, source, and it says set to Windows Server AD. You might have to wait a few minutes and select refresh for the AD user account to appear. So we have that, but it just doesn't say Windows Server AD. That's just, I don't see it over here, not anymore. So let's go to users. But if you look right now, I think that's a old thing that Microsoft has recently changed. It used to show like Windows Server and Active AD Server. Now when you do your sync, it just shows up as a member. It does not tell you where it's coming from. So if you go in there, really I don't see anything that's gonna tell me that it's a user that is coming from the on-prem directory. It's just a member now. Okay, so on the users, all users blade, select user 1 entry, and from the job info section, note the department attribute is not set. So over here, if I go job info department, there is nothing set for the department, right? So now if I go back to AD VM, go to the Active Directory admin center, and go to the user 1 and update the organization to sales. So let's go over here. Here is my user. Let me see if I can open that one. So over here, let's say department, if I put it sales and hit OK, and that within the remote start the PowerShell and start the Azure AD Connect Delta synchronization. So this is how, so once this is done, if you come back over here and refresh this, see your synchronization. If you see if you have any that department shows up or not, you see that it still didn't show up, so your synchronization is not done yet. So what we want to do, we want to copy this and come back over here, and we are gonna open the PowerShell and run as admin and click on that one. So what it's doing, it's importing the module, and it's running the Active Directory sync cycle, and anything that is Delta, it's gonna try to sync. So come back over here, switch to the Microsoft Edge and refresh the page, and you should see the sales is now showing up. So if I refresh and look at that, sales is now available to me. So you know that your AD Connect is now working perfectly, and you are in good shape. So come back over here. So that completes the lab that we have done. So clean up the resources. It says start by disabling the Azure AD synchronization. So if you want, you can do this to stop the syncing process. And from the PowerShell, this is clean up your resource thing, so you can run these particular commands to get rid of all the resources that you have created. So I'm actually not gonna do all of that. I'm gonna leave it for now. I might use some of this stuff in the future, but what I'll do, I'll change my directory and go to the default directory, and the virtual machine that I have, I'm going to stop that one. And that's the end of this particular lab. And if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Good luck studying AZ500. Thank you for watching this video. Hope it was useful.